1 minute. Miss Sanderson, are you ready? Okay. Ooh, that's a big forehead.
We'll do it live.
Holy Toledo. That's a lot.
You need
There's
a
a lot
little
going on
powder.
there. I need to do a comb down or
They
something.
got cream to take care of that.
I know.
They
Change the
have
name of it.
clip-in bangs.
What's that?
Clip-in bangs.
What's that?
They have a little clip and
Oh,
you just clip it and you can have bangs.
I could.
It's
That
literally
I
just clip-in bangs.
That would be totally
Right
cute.
here.
I have some of those ponytails
So
and buns.
square it
and
out.
they're such a time saver.
Make it look like I have a bowl cut. You know, like mom took the bowl and went around my head. All right. It's
Eddie!
done.
Eddie!
Oh my goodness.
Larry Moe Curly.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you still have a minute. I was just trying to shut that conversation down.
Nah, I know what you're trying to do. I got 7 now.
I've got 7 now as well.
I can see it.
All right, everybody. Good evening. It is Monday, April 18th, 2022. Let's see here. All right, please get everyone to silence your cell phones and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mrs. Anderson, you please take the roll.
Councilmember Rounds,
Here.
Councilmember Chapman,
Here.
Councilmember Holland,
Present.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Rowland,
Here.
Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Everyone is here. This evening we have our Arbor Day proclamation, which I'm trying to pull up right now. Thank you, Chief. I don't see one in the packet here.
That's Pulp Fiction.
Pull that up real quick here. Maybe. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. You know, you have a hard copy down there or no? Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Oh, you got it, thank you, Mr. Chapman. Arbor Day 2022, whereas Arbor Day was first observed in 1872 with the planting of more than 1 million trees in the state of Nebraska. And whereas Washington, the evergreen state, has celebrated Arbor Day since 1917, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and world. And whereas the city of Woodland is designated as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation. And whereas trees clean the air and water, produce oxygen, reduce stormwater runoff, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, reduce erosion and compaction of our precious topsoil from water and wind, beautify our neighborhoods, reduce stress, and provide food and habitat for wildlife. And now, therefore, I, William A. Finn, do hereby recognize the month of April as Arbor Month and April 25th as Arbor Day 2022 in the city of Woodland, and urge all citizens to support to protect our trees and natural areas for the well-being of present and future generations. And I call this observance to the attention of all our citizens, dated this 18th day of April 2022. And on the 25th, we'll be down at the park at noon with 12:30. Thank you. Near a special tree where are we planting a tree?
We have the tree has already been planted.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Okay.
we will be there to recognize the planting of the tree.
Gotcha. Along with the Planters Day princesses will also be there
Correct.
to celebrate with us.
And it's going to be at Horseshoe Lake Park, right next to the bleachers, right as you enter into the park to the left.
Perfect. Thank you. So those that can attend, please show up. It's going to be a photo op with the mayor.
I'll be in California.
All right. And next up, citizen communication for items not on the agenda.
Lolo's gonna be there.
I have no one signed up. Is there anyone here for items not on the agenda this evening? Back over here to this. Anyone online for items not on the agenda? Now's your opportunity. All right, moving on to items on the agenda. I have no one signed up in the well, I do have one person signed up in the gallery. Miss Jamie Lockwood. Would you please step forward, and Mrs. Lockwood is here under item number action item E, and she has action item E in her hands this evening.
Would you like to hold them, Paul?
Oh, I you know what, I can, I guess. I'll have to. I'll have to.
Oh.
Oh, goodness sakes. If you just want to introduce yourself and what you do, and
My name is Jamie. I'm a retired firefighter EMT, and I'm disabled with multiple sclerosis with a service dog of my own. I went and bred the service dog, and the first litter she had 11 puppies, and out of that 11 puppies, 5 of them became service dogs. So we bred her again with the same father, and I am donating. I call him Sarge, but I hear he's going to have a name change. But I'm donating 1 puppy to you guys to use as a therapy dog to help out the community.
We appreciate that, thank you. I know I went and did some cuddle time with some puppies, the other puppies with my children.
I got a total of 10 puppies in this litter. So if anybody wants to come and cuddle, you've got until Monday.
He's looking for you, I think.
Hi,
Yes.
puppy.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the donation.
Does
We really
anybody
do.
have any
Do you have any
questions?
questions for Mrs. Lockwood?
He is purebred, AKC. He is registered. So yeah, you will be getting the paperwork to register him through AKC.
And I'll talk more about him during my report this
Well,
evening. I'm going to give him back to you.
He can't wait to get to work.
I know, he just can't
You
wait
can
to
let
get to
him
work.
run the meeting.
You know, anybody else want to hold the baby?
Of course.
I will hold the baby.
Well, can I pet the baby later?
Well, I'll give my report now then, since we're passing the baby around. So we did go through I wouldn't call it an application process, but we did this. The animal will be housed at the PD. There will be a PD dog. So with the officers, we did put it out there for the officers for some intent. If anyone that wanted to be the handler, I guess we could call it. We had one person submit a letter of interest on the last day before 5 o'clock, which was our new lieutenant, who was in the back, Lieutenant Ortiz. So Mrs. Ortiz will be the handler of the new therapy dog. So we'll take some time, and I think we've got about 4 months before we have to actually start training or so, something like that.
You really can't train him until until he gets his third shot.
Okay.
Which are is at 8, 12, 16 weeks.
16 weeks. Okay. So
After that, then, I mean, you can train him at home.
Yeah.
But official training.
official training doesn't start till then.
Nobody will take him until then.
So he's just supposed to be a puppy now.
And learn.
And learn, yes.
Right now, I've been training them since they were 3 days old. Actually, I do something called puppy culture, and it makes them into a more confident, less scared dog. I started with external neural stimulation, which is basically stressing them out just a little bit, just to get them used to it. They bounce back. Okay, they don't care. When their eyes and ears open, I started dropping things. Slamming doors, letting the dogs bark, turning on the
Pots and
television
pans
loud.
hitting the ground.
So, this latest thunderstorm, he slept through.
Nice.
So-
I didn't, but yeah.
Yeah, but he slept through the thunderstorm. I've turned on the lawnmower. I've actually vacuumed the pen with them. I mean, nothing phases him. Or his brothers and sisters. So, out of all the puppies, he is the most calm and relaxed. He's laid back.
Yeah.
He's like, but I'll warn you, he likes cones.
Oh, I got, we see that now, yes.
Well, thank you for bringing him this evening and introducing him physically. We had pictures before. You're walking. Okay. I was just gonna take him. Yeah, It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Give him back to Miss Lockwood. So we're hoping council will approve of the contract this evening and the donation. I've already been out getting donations to help assist with that. So, and we plan on getting some more as Mrs. Rounds. So we're working on as little as financial impact as possible.
So can we make sure
Okay,
that
Molly, wash your hands.
he comes to all the council meetings?
Yes, the goal and the idea is that not only will he will be a help for those that are in trauma at some point as we get older, but also to attend the community events and just be a staple and another what did you call it, Chief? A ceremonial unit for the Woodland Police Department. So yeah, if any of you are familiar with Sherman, the dog, a big Sherman,
Sherman.
that shows up to. Oh, he did.
Sherman did, yeah, Sherman
Oh,
passed
did.
away, yeah.
but he showed up to shop with a cop and was there, and
That's why he
everybody got
was.
to.
That's why he wasn't
yeah.
at Shop at the Cop this year.
So that's the goal and the vision there. So, thank you, Miss Lockwood. All right. Oh yes. Well, that's community support right there. Thank you, Mrs. Butler. I don't know if council saw that, but Mrs. Butler was clapping and supports it. Anyone online for items on the agenda? Now's your opportunity to step forward.
Sergeant Bolo or Sergeant.
Seeing none, moving on to the agenda itself this evening.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Round, second by Councilmember Smith. Mrs. Anderson.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland,
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman,
Aye.
Councilmember Holland,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
The agenda is passed. We have no public hearings this evening and reports of City Council.
Oh, I just wanted to say that Saturday evening is the library function, and we'll be attending that, so should be a fun time.
The only,
Mrs. Hunt?
the only thing I'd like to add is, currently there's some, road work happening on Davidson. It did not impede food distribution at the food bank on Saturday. Some thrift store folks were a little upset, but, overall, I think people understood that there's a giant piece of equipment in the road doing some important stuff, so just wanted to throw that out.
I've got that to discuss on during my report this evening.
I went and looked in the hole.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I mean, I wanted to know what was in the hole. And I got to
I think
see.
folks need to understand too that this is good for us. I know that it's a hampering us right now, but at the end of the day, this is it's to help us with our industrial area and getting that water out there. Is there any other projects going on right there or is it just the water line?
For Davidson, it's just the water.
Just the water line.
It's
Okay.
been requested for over 10 years.
Yeah.
We could have
Yes.
just had Scott and Davidson both at the same time shut down.
Oh, yeah, that would've
Just
been
get it
fantastic.
done. Just
No,
get it done
thank you,
quicker.
Miss Coleman, for not doing that.
Exactly.
Well, and may I say one other thing too?
Yeah.
The reason why we have it closed down, we had originally intended to leave one lane open, but because people would not follow the signage that we had put up to leave one lane open, and they were playing chicken, and we even had police sitting out there, and we were afraid that there was gonna be a fatality. That's the reason why we had to close off both lanes, because people were not obeying the signs and not using the detours and going around. So that is the reason why we chose to close them off, for a safety reason.
And Chief Coleman, my other hat appreciates that a whole lot.
Anything else, Mrs. Holland? Sorry, we
No.
started to take away your time.
No,
Sorry.
that was it.
Okay. Just impressed.
I thought it was pretty cool because, I remember that it's been like, 12 or 13 years now.
Yeah, promise to get that.
Since the city annexed in that property and promised water. And thank you for making that happen. So,
Are we up to 3 years yet for the permitting process, or almost?
It took me over 2 years just to get the permit
Yeah.
for one of them, and another year to get the permit, another additional year to get the permit for the other side. And then, it's the other side, Westcott, is 4 grant applications that we received. So it's big projects, and it's an inconvenience for a month and a half on each side, but the payoff is huge, and the time that it's taken us to do this, people need to just be patient, use the detour route, know that it's inconvenient for 45 days, and we won't apply it. Just account for it in their daily travel.
And we're following through on the promises that previous administrations have made.
Correct.
Just making sure I get that out there. All right. Anyone else for reports of City Council? All right. Seeing none, moving on to Finance Committee.
that's me.
All right.
Okay, so we met earlier today. Well, of course. So just kind of a brief synopsis. Most of our sales tax revenue comes from auto and RV and big box stores, like way over $500,000 in sales tax revenue from that. Something that Ms. Anderson does is puts together a report showing us a comparison from 2018 to 2022. And something I'm super excited by is that over that time period, we are up in sales tax revenue by over 63%. That just says Woodland retail is doing well.
People shopping local.
Yes, people do shop local.
Good.
One of the other things that you'll see in your packet tonight is some ordinances. So the Finance Committee had a recommendation of a due pass for ordinance 1510, 1511, and 1512. They also had a due pass recommendation for ordinance number 1509. That part is just kind of cleaning up things now that, from the budget, now that we have actual numbers for this year. So Ms. Anderson would appreciate that being approved. But overall, again, Woodland's economy is strong. So, and we'll be meeting this time next month. I'm not sure. What, 5/16 on 5/16 at 5:30.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Holland. Human Resources.
I believe Human Resources did not meet tonight.
Yeah. we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next meeting will be 5/16 at 5:30 as well. All right. Mrs. Miller.
I'm just saying, simple observation.
I don't have any cool coasters this time. I do have information.
It's kind of hard to talk about there.
Hey, I took time to design this, so you can look at it.
I was just talking about Coolidge's meeting.
Oh, God.
Oh, you bet you, I think it doesn't matter.
Thank you so much.
Really? He'll probably want
Thank you.
two.
Thank you.
He has it digitally.
No,
Okay, yeah,
I may want to. Yeah, it's up there.
Thanks.
I thought it was early. So did Mrs. Miller.
Is
But
that the mayor's face I see?
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Ooh, coffee with the mayor.
Yep.
April 25th? What are you
we're
doing
opening
on
back
Friday?
up finally.
What are you doing when I'm going out of town?
Why are we doing it at 7:30?
I offered 7:15.
Thank you all tonight for letting me come speak, and thank you for your patience. My little one back there, our youngest one attending. The reason she's with me today actually is because one of our own local businesses, American Paper Converting, they already have a facility in Virginia, but they're actually moving to a brand new building they just had built. And so my husband, who works for American Paper here in town as well, is actually over there getting all their IT set up and ready to go. So he has been gone a week now, and he'll be gone not back until Friday. So Harper's with me tonight. So thank you for your patience. All right, so visitor center information. Our visitor count for last month, so March, it was up over 100% from the previous year, so 2021. We were back open full-time at that point, but we were still seeing some pretty low numbers, so being up over 100% since last year is a really cool thing. Snow park passes are no longer needed, so feel free to go up to the snow parks without one. The road to Johnson Ridge has already been opened. It's earlier than it has been in years past. Now, that depends on if it's snowing. They are trying to keep it plowed as much as they can. The visitor center up there is not yet staffed, so the actual building itself is not open. They generally try to have the road as well as the visitor center open by the anniversary date, and they usually have a hard time getting it open by then. So the fact that it's already open is awesome. The forest towards Ape Caves, 83, Lava Canyon, and all that are still snowy in parts, especially from last week. The plowing contract out there ends at the end of March, and so unless somebody decides to be very kind and go plow it, it's not plowed. So if you do go out that way, if you hear anyone heading out that way, make sure you just let them know. Take chains, don't get lost, don't get stuck. It's not fun. Okay, Chamber.
See ya.
We had our golf course ribbon cutting. It was wonderful weather. I appreciate you who were able to join us. It was amazing. The food was great. I did their brunch there last Sunday, which I believe I know Monty was there as well. Food was good. They're really excited to be open and be part of the community. I was able to meet The two owners and I would call her their liaison gal, they were all great. They're all super excited, just essentially be part of the community. Asha was there and she spoke about the school using the course for the school teams, as well as it sounds like she's gonna have a meeting with them about Scott Hill Park. So lots of networking going on at that ribbon cutting. It was a lot of fun. Let's see, other things that are coming up, and it's also on, I'm not sure, I know you guys were all enthralled with Mayor's face. But on the back side of this one I gave you is tomorrow's event, which is our networking luncheon. The princesses will be there as well.
Bring your cash.
Was that? Yeah, it,
Bring your cash.
it says that. It says right there in italics, the Planners Day Princess will be in attendance. Bring your cash to purchase tickets. So please do come to our networking one. Other than that, we do have Love Your Library on Saturday. I will be in attendance to that. Coffee with the Mayor, 7:30. That's coming following Monday. Our May meeting, which is the whole point of this full side here, is a legislative wrap-up. And if you do want to go to it, you really do need to RSVP because we haven't ran out of space yet, but we want to make sure that we have enough food, enough seats, and we don't want to turn anyone away, but we need to just have a count. And the speakers there will be Senator John Braun, Representative Ed Orcutt, Representative Peter Abarno, and it's going to be a really good one. So please do come. And if you cannot physically be there, we do have you can do it on Zoom as well. You can use the QR code there or just go to our website and just sign up. You do for the online one, you just say free Zoom and I'll send you the info. The reason we do that is that way we don't just blast it out to everybody and you just have random you who's hopping on. So, and other things we have coming up, Love Street Playhouse, the I'm going to say it wrong, Explorators Club starts the 13th of May. The Woodland Farmers Market's opening day is the 2nd of June. And then, of course, August 19th is our golf tournament.
All right.
So,
Questions for Mrs. Miller?
oh, you guys
Good
are
job.
easy tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Should I come up with some questions?
You got your hands full.
Good job,
enough.
Harper.
Well done, Harper. Good job. Thank you. And thank you for bringing our representatives for our district down as well. It's always a very informative meeting when they show up and give us the wrap up. So thank you.
We can always thank Miss Darlene. She is always the one that helps.
Thank you.
They know what to do if you don't show up.
All right. Moving on to reports of city officers. Special meeting for council vacancy interviews was canceled last week, but we will be doing those this evening following our regular business this evening. Thank you, Mrs. Holland, for bringing up the roadway. I know we did receive some complaints, but I think, Ms. Coleman, I think the team has done a great job with signage and prepping the community for that closure. I know the first one over Scott was not anticipated, but this one with the constant messaging has been great, so thank you for that.
And just so everybody knows, after we're done with this, we're going to move back over to Scott and close it again.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be having a reader board go up probably 3 weeks prior to that happening.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Chamber events, sorry I missed them. It was spring break. I was out of town. I apologize, but it sounds like that they were wonderful, and I too will be at the library event and got some more folks signed up to come with me, to include my wife and a couple of neighbors, so I'm excited about that. Had some meetings with a contractor here in town who is developing the area across from Belmont Loop. Very exciting things going on over there commercially, and some housing as well eventually. And then also we had a meeting a few weeks back with the port, and getting going on some conversations with things that are going on, especially in our industrial area. So more to come with that as we move forward with our conversations with them. But happy to be at the table having those conversations. Mr. Boyce.
Yeah, I'm going to keep mine short because I know we have interviews. So on the agenda, we have listed the Planning Commission meeting, 7 p.m., April 21st. Also, earlier that day on the 21st at 1 p.m. in this room is the Logan's Landing appeal hearing. So if anyone's interested, they can attend. Then also May 4th, Cowlitz County Planning Commission has a meeting at 7 p.m. So the topic is the South Woodland Comp Plan and zone. So I believe that's the Aho development. They're asking for a comp plan change to allow some greater density.
And what date is that?
May 4th, 7 p.m. at the county.
May the fourth be with you.
And so that, as everyone knows, both of those items, the Logan's Landing and the Aho development, will have significant impacts on the city. So.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. And just to comment on that, with that development down there, there's been a lot of discussion that the city has failed the city, the residents here. But I just want to get it on the record to make sure that everyone understands that when council took action back in, I believe it was 2018, not to expand the urban growth boundary, it was due to the voice of the people. That they were listening to the folks not to expand, and now it feels like we're being faulted for not expanding and doing proper planning. Travis has done an amazing job, and we have been corresponding with the county for a number of years since this development or potential development has been discussed out there. So for the record, we are not sitting back and allowing things to happen. We are trying to be thoughtful, plan properly, and work with our stakeholders at the county level. And we will continue to do so, and hopefully we will see some progress there. So I think that was a very nice way to say that. Moving on to consent items.
Move to approve the consent items?
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Holland, second by Councilmember Chapman. Mrs. Anderson.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Consent items have passed. Moving on to action item D, ordinance number 1509, budget amendment, first and final reading.
Mo-
Go ahead.
Motion to approve ordinance 1509, budget amendment, first and final reading.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Smith, second by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Smith.
I think it was discussed by Councilmember Holland. This is to clean up the budget a little bit, and now that we've got some final numbers in.
Councilmember Rounds.
I agree.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Anderson, please take the roll on action item D, ordinance number 1509.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Action item D has passed. Action item E, authorize mayor to sign agreement with Therapy Dog.
Move to approve.
Second?
Moved by Councilmember Chapman, second by Councilmember Holland. Councilmember Chapman.
Yeah, I think this is a wonderful thing to help with the community and stuff and everything. And it's not costing us anything because it's a donation.
Councilmember Holland.
I concur, and I just want to add, who doesn't love a puppy? I just want to throw that out there.
Further discussion? Mr. Smith.
What's the long-term cost? Are we going to have any costs? I know the dog is free, but what's the long-term plan?
So long-term, well, if council will permit me to speak, I guess I should ask first. Without
Yes.
objection. Okay, thank you. Well, long-term plan is currently working on donations to help sustain the cost of the animal. There is federal requirements that require some type of a stipend or some kind of payment, whether that be whatever the agreement is between the handler and the city, whether it be monetary or through time off, whatever it may be. But there is federal law that restricts us from asking someone to take the dog for free, I guess. So there is a cost there. That is yet to be worked out. But we are planning on getting donations and reaching out to some of our local business community folks to include our dog food plant, our veterinary services, dog groomers, to help us with that. So to answer that question, I cannot give you that. But I will tell you that if it does begin to appear to be that's going to be too much with the training and everything else that comes with it, we can give the dog back. So it's not we're just stuck with it and we have to just deal with it. We can give it back to the breeder. Mrs. Rounds.
You can get donations from the community,
Yes.
though, and from the businesses to help pay for the training and all that.
Yes, and we're still working on that package right now, gathering up the information. We're still new into it, so.
I have a question.
Mrs. Holland?
So if someone were to write a grant, let's say, to pay expenses for the therapy dog, what organization would get are we going to create a separate fund for that? Or
I
how
think
would
it would just be a
work?
line item. It'd just be another, Mr. Boyce, I'll let you answer that.
That would be another police expenditure.
Yeah.
In the general fund.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll work on it.
The dog will have its own line item.
I will
Yes,
work on that.
Okay. Further discussion? Mrs. Anderson, please take the roll on action item E.
One more.
Oh, yes, Mr. Smith.
Do we have somebody that is wanting to take the dog? Is that what
Yes,
talked about?
we put out a letter for interest, so we could do interviews and go through that process. We had one person submit a letter of interest, which was the new lieutenant. So that closed last Wednesday at 5 p.m., and I think her letter of interest went in at about 4 p.m. last Wednesday. So there was about a 2.5 week or a 2 week opening for that.
Okay.
It was opened up to the entire police department.
I'm good.
Okay. Mrs. Anderson, please take roll on action item E, authorize mayor to sign agreement for therapy dog.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Action item E has passed. Moving on to action item F, ordinance number 1510, create fund number 331, pedestrian railroad crossing, first and final.
I make a motion to approve action item F, ordinance 1510, create new fund number 331, pedestrian railroad crossing, first reading.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Rounds, seconded by Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Rounds.
Well, it's just cleanup work that we have to create a fund for that particular item, so.
Councilmember Smith.
No comment.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Anderson, please take the roll on action item F, ordinance number 1510.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Action item F has passed. Moving on to action item G, ordinance number 1511, create new fund number 332, Waterline Railroad Crossing, first and final reading.
Motion to approve ordinance 1511, create new fund number 332 for Waterline Railroad Crossing, first and final reading.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Smith, second by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Smith.
Same as the last one, needed to create a fund for it, and it was a due pass, unanimous due pass in the Finance Committee to do this.
Councilmember Rounds.
I concur.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Anderson, please take the roll on action item G, ordinance number 1511.
Councilmember Rowland.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Action item G has passed. Moving on to action item H, ordinance number 1512, create new fund number 333, asbestos waterline replacement on West Scott, first and final reading.
I make a motion to approve action item H, ordinance 1512, create new fund number 333, asbestos water line replacement on West Scott Avenue.
Second.
First and final reading.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Rounds, seconded by Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Rounds.
It's same as the other ones that we did. It's just paperwork that we got to get in order.
Councilmember Smith.
No comment.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Mrs. Anderson, please take the roll on action item H, ordinance number 1512.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Action item H has passed, and what?
Did she ask twice? Did she miss one?
You didn't go.
I didn't go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Aye.
oh,
Saying,
I counted
thought I said
6.
Aye twice.
Oh, you did?
Well, she said Mrs.
Oh,
Brown.
I was like, I counted 6.
So aye.
Let the record reflect that Mrs. Rounds is only 1 vote, not 2.
Right.
And before we move on, we do have Chief Knorr is here, and I should have called him up at the beginning of the meeting. I apologize. Chief Knorr with Clark Cowlitz Fire and Rescue. Do you have anything to share this evening, Chief?
Very briefly.
All right.
I say, Chief showed up.
We've missed you.
Yeah, Chief.
I'm glad to be here. As I jokingly said to the mayor, Chief Jackson assigned me to the city of Woodland now. So many of you knew Chief Dan Yeager. He had been a long time, over 40 years with the district, and he retired at the end of December, and it allowed an opportunity to. So I have one of the chief officers assigned to each city, and we didn't replace his position with another assistant chief. We created another position lower in the organization, utilizing that money. So I reassigned the chiefs, and so I now will be the representative to Woodland. Mike Jackson will be the representative to Ridgefield, and Ben Peeler will be the representative to La Center. Unfortunately, we had a fire here in Woodland on April 5th. We had a 2-alarm apartment fire at the Tulip Valley Apartments. Lost 2 units, a downstairs unit where the fire originated, and then it extended through, as fires often do at garden-style apartments, out the window and into the window of the unit above. Fortunately, the above unit had become recently vacant, and so there really wasn't furniture to spread the fire and propagate the fire in that room. So that it received less damage, and the fire didn't spread as far as they usually would. The downside is that 2 units of rental housing are unavailable now, and then 2 other units in the building were damaged by smoke and heat, and they'll be cleaned up. Contractors are over there earlier this week. I was there to do some follow-up and some training on it. Crews did a very good job of stopping the fire, holding that it didn't get into the attic space. It was a 2-alarm fire, and that's when we're unable to handle a situation with our units, we call in our neighbors. So we had help from Clark County Fire District 6 in Hazeldale Salmon Creek. Vancouver Fire Department sent a ladder truck, and then we had 2 engines from Cowlitz County Fire District 1, the surrounding area here. So we always appreciate everybody's help when they send it, and we're always eager to return the favor when people ask for the help, the other departments ask for help. We did have a brand new fire engine go in service last month. It is a fire engine that was procured by the Cowlitz Indian Tribe and donated or given to the fire district for use because we are their contract service provider also. So you may see that engine around, and it has the Cowlitz logo on the rear doors of the cab and the fire department logo on the front. But that I'm going to tell you some shocking inflationary news. So we all have our thing that comes around and wakes us up to it a little bit. The new fire engine that was placed in service here next door at Engine 29 last year cost $654,000. The fire district ordered 2 fire engines that are in production right now, and they each cost $688,000. They'll be coming in April, and we'll place one at Dollars Corner and one in Charter Oak. And so I asked our logistics chief, could we order 1 more fire engine, and then we'll have all our front line replaced. They last 20 years. We got great service out of our old rigs, but they're getting old. And the bid came back at $848,000. So I said, stand by, and we may have to look at some other ways. But almost $200,000 up in 2 years from the rig that was just placed in service next door. So we're just reevaluating that. But we're very busy at the fire district. Our run volume is up 17% over from 20 to 21, and we're just looking at ways to make sure we can continue to respond and get out there and take care of business throughout the district. So you'll be see my face here a little more often. I thought
make
maybe
sure I
if
got
I
your
came,
phone
I'd get a
number.
puppy dog
Yeah.
out of the deal, and then I found out it wasn't for me. So, Mayor, council members, any questions about fire district ops or anything going on there? We are back open a little bit. We're back into the schools, and our offices are back open. We're out and about here at Horseshoe Lake Park this past Saturday for Easter egg hunts, as well as some other ones throughout the district. It's good to be back in the community a little bit.
I woke
Sir.
up that morning, that evening, and I seen so many red trucks
Yes. Yeah.
and lights.
It, most what we call a single alarm fire, or 1 alarm fire, we handle with 4 units and a battalion chief, 3 engines in a truck, or sometimes 4 engines, depending on the position of the fire. But when something is escalating that quickly, we want to get ahead of it and get it shut down so we don't lose a whole building. So we call for the extra help, and they came in. So a 2-alarm fire brings in a lot of help from our neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else?
Anything else?
Right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you. It's been a while since we've seen someone. Thank you for the report.
Chief Jackson told me he was logging on pretty regular during the online meetings.
Maybe he was.
He did.
Never else saw anybody in person.
We did.
see MJ up on the wall.
Yes.
All right. With that, the time is now 7:39. We will take a 6-minute break before we get started with interviews this evening and going into the workshop. So with that, 6 minutes.
They took the puppy.
He just put it off.
What's that? Okay. All right.
Okay, so how long is this going to take? 6 minutes we have. Okay.
And then, of course, short duties and stuff like that. So how long were you with them?
Let's see, we joined in 97 and we met in 2000. And we're married in 2001, so most of his career.
And we're all people that live in the station.
We were in Kings Bay and then we went to Maryland, back to his hometown for recruiting duty. And then back to Kings Bay, and then from there we went and switched. We got disqualified medically from submarines, and so we started the recruiting path full time. And so then we went to Idaho, and then to New Mexico, and then to Memphis area where it used to be a huge base, but now it's more the upper people in the recruiting district headquarters is there. So he was a national trainer there, and then we came here finally, and decided he was supposed to go to Seattle next, and we were like, it's time to get out.
Okay, I just want to
We were going to try
clarify.
to do, like, take our fifth wheel up that way, and just kept getting hit roadblock after roadblock after roadblock with, you can't live in it year round, and a lot of the counties up there, and it was just one thing, and I was like, we can't afford to stay here, and we're not moving. So he finally pulled the plug, and it was,
So it's
he
just
signed up
still
for
after
COVID,
executive
and he
session.
COVID hit, and he was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, maybe I just stay, and I was like, you have a job. He's like, are you sure I have a job? I was like, you have a job.
Okay.
So he works for a company called Supply Source, out of Oregon, and they, kind of a liaison between like paper companies and then like regular companies who need supplies. So it could be, you know, the wraps that you
Actually, a couple
provide.
weeks ago, but
Not just me, but I'm just saying, between both sides of the fence.
Oh, okay.
But, you know,
I will not
it's
take
been
it.
hard trying to run.
So anyway, are you,
Yeah, it was planned.
I'm trying to remember. She did send an email, and I saw it. And I was like,
from the library?
Town acquisition issues. And so he just hired another buddy that retired too.
Council.
So it's an international company.
So like last year, your one went to, you had to,
It's hard
Got
to
one free ticket, and then
I want to say though that
It
I've
said
seen
2 tickets, but
correspondence before.
it's only one.
no, and I don't
And
mind,
I bought Darlene one, and I bought Darlene one, because we're taking Darlene.
But
and I don't mind paying for it, but I was
No,
like, well, if
but you're supposed to get one.
he is doing it.
It's hard to,
I don't know. Sometimes I think, yeah, this job's a little extra.
yeah.
Oh, great. You know, it's people running the company that have, business right, dated, they're running at their job, and now I'm. So it's, no, it's interesting. He has all the right ideas, they just don't want to listen. No, I don't know, I don't know.
sit down.
That
Sit down by the
library
chamber.
thing
I'm
was so
paranoid, I don't want fortune cats.
I thought it was.
Have a.
I got it.
I did too.
You didn't get,
Well, I guess I'll have to go.
Lonnie, did you get one, Lonnie? You didn't get an email?
All of our families
From
back.
who?
From, it would have been from the Love Your Library folks.
I think so, because that's what I was, because they, 2 years ago, they gave us one ticket, and then I bought one.
Right.
Which, I was kind of like, well, do I buy one, do I not buy one?
Well, this year it said you went a guest.
Yeah, but you have to pay for your gas.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, you
Oh,
did?
no, I put it in there. I put in the code and they gave it to me.
Oh,
so.
did it?
Yeah.
I paid for Darwin.
Oh, I didn't. I thought it said for me and a guest. I didn't
It
realize
did say for you and a guest.
I didn't realize I had to
But
pay for the
I
second
thought you
one.
told me you had to pay for your one.
No.
Well, I paid for Darwin, so
Oh,
it's a
probably-
donation
well.
anyway.
Well, that's what I end up giving.
Yeah, you have to register to go.
Yeah.
Go to. It's on a right.
You know what? I've got a phone number at home, because I called today, and, I got it here. You just call and you can tell them,
Yeah, just put yourself on the list because
Yeah.
this weekend. I don't know if it's closed online yet.
I just called that number and they
Oh.
and so Darlene just has to tell them that she's there Saturday.
Oh, okay. Darlene's going.
Yes,
Oh, good.
we got a ticket for her.
Okay, good.
That's it right there.
Well, then I'll have to drive there.
360, 906, 4700. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should get it.
When did the email go out?
I think they probably figured they would send it to the hall, but maybe they don't have it.
Well, I have given them $1,000, so maybe they were being nice to give me 2 tickets.
Well, I donated 2 nights at the beach.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh.
Glen Eden.
Well, I don't remember.
Has the chief already left?
No, he's out there talking to Tracy.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to him later about it. They're going to auction off another dinner. All right.
Dinner with the chief, you mean?
Yeah, and me.
Oh, and you?
No.
Who's cooking?
Not me. I still haven't followed through on the first one. They haven't called Mrs. Zoltz, I think, from the chamber dinner when we did.
Called on that one.
She still hasn't called to set up a time
Oh,
yet.
really?
Yeah, with the
Cedar
chief
Creek
and I.
Road.
It's
There's
gonna be
a
fun.
truck stuck in a tree.
All right. Good evening and welcome back. We are now in workshop. The time is 7:45. I'm going to go over a few rules real quick before we start conducting interviews to evaluate the qualifications of a candidate for appointment to elected office for the City Council of Woodland. It looks like we have 5 candidates with us this evening. I think we had 6 applicants, is that correct? 6 applicants and 5 are here. It's going to be a super easy process. The problem is, as we go through, it's not a problem. The process is going to be, we will draw your name out of a cup randomly to bring you in. We will be going over a list of questions. There are 12 questions, and we will not deviate from this. And each candidate will be asked the same questions in the same order. We'll start with Councilmember Burke, and then on to Smith, and so on, all the way through until we get through the 12. While you're interviewing, only members of the public are allowed to be in the room. So if you are a candidate, you have to step outside and wait in the hallway. Once you're done with your interview process, you will then step back out in the hallway and we'll call the next person forward. Once we are done with the interviews, the City Council will be going into an executive session where no one is allowed except the members of the council, Mr. Boyce, myself, and Mr. Randolph, our attorney. Qualifications will be discussed at that moment. And we will reconvene and hopefully take some action on selecting a candidate this evening. If you are selected, your first official meeting will be May 2nd, and that's where you'll be sworn in, and you will take your seat up here at the dais with the rest of us. With that said, any questions from council? Okay. Any questions from the candidates? All right. If I can... I'll draw one name, and then everyone else that is not a member of the public and interviewing this evening will need to step outside.
So
Yes, go ahead.
just a quick question. So some of these, they're like the way these are written, they don't really leave it open for people to elaborate. Like I could yes, no this whole thing, and what do you know
You could.
about me?
You could.
So they're allowed to elaborate,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. We encourage you to answer the question to the best of your ability and providing as much information as possible that you think is important for council to determine your qualifications. Oh. How about now? We good? All right. Thank you.
You're gonna be great.
All right. First up to the podium, which I'm going to come out and move it and put it in the middle of the dais here, is Miss Karen Shattuck. Yes. Okay. If I can get the rest of the candidates to please step outside, or step out in the lobby. Yeah, he just confirmed that it's off.
Somebody turn
Welcome.
the heat up.
That's nice to meet you. I'm Will. I'm going to shut the door here, or the stop door here, and we'll get started.
She's the last one.
Thank you, Chief. All right, as stated, we'll be going through the 12 questions that have been provided to each candidate. Beginning with number 1, we will not deviate from the script. And again, we encourage you to elaborate on yourself and try to answer the questions best to your ability. First of all, thank you for being here, and thank you for putting your name into a hat. It's not always easy to sit up here or to put yourself out there. So congratulations to you for at least making it this far. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
You almost gave me enough time to chicken out. And you drew my name first, which is really crazy, so I can't believe
Sometimes
it.
it's good, sometimes it's bad. I don't know. I like to think it's good. I'd rather just go first to get it over with.
That too, and I didn't think you'd draw me first, and you did. So, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It was
I'm
random.
This is a small step for mankind and a giant leap for me. So
That's right.
It's okay.
All right. And with that, Mr. Burke, we'll begin with you with question number 1.
Hi.
Hi,
Tell
Mr.
us about your previous public service to the Woodland community, and have you ever attended a council meeting before?
I have only participated in volunteer opportunities that were like put out there, like a river cleanup, or my daughter participated in the school organized activity where they
Make a Difference Day?
Yes, the Make a Difference Day. I also participated in a high school softball field cleanup, just because my daughter was on the team. I'm a transplant to Woodland, or I migrated in 2010 when the economy did that cool thing. I ended up here, homeless and jobless, living with my best friend. So it took a while I was just limping along trying to keep her in school and do what I needed to do. And I lived in the Jefferson Place Apartments for 4 years, and now I bought a home here. That's a little bit about me. But I look for opportunities to help, but I don't know anybody in Woodland. Somehow I've managed to live here for 12 years, and I really don't hardly know anybody. So unless you see it on social media or something, sometimes the opportunities I don't catch them. I try to read the reflector or whatever, but I'm looking for more opportunities to participate in ways to help.
Mr. Smith.
Are there any issues that are of particular interest to you? What do you hope to accomplish during the appointed term as a council member?
I guess going back to that, I moved here in 2010 and lived with my best friend up at the top of Green Mountain Road, and I raised my daughters in Oregon City, Oregon. And the graduating class of my daughter's high school was over 800. And when my younger daughter graduated from Woodland High School in 2015, here, the entire school population was under 700. So since I've lived here, I've seen Woodland really grow, and that's a great thing. But I've also seen some problems grow, like a little homeless tent under the tree next to the little Woodland corner store, and some crime rising and stuff like that. I live alone, so I get a little nervous sometimes. People are upset, they're scared. We're all talking about things that are going wrong, and I'd like to participate in conversations about things that we can do to make things better and to make people feel more like saying hey to each other when we're walking around or interacting. I don't really know specifically, but whatever those solutions are, or things things people can do to make things better and help Woodland through its growing pains, I'd like to be part of that. Bless you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Rounds.
City council members must attend numerous meetings and keep up with multiple issues. Are you able to commit to this amount of time and arrange your schedule to participate fully as a member of the city council. Explain how you will handle the demands of the job.
I work from home. Both of my daughters are raised. They're 32 and 25 now. So the only commitment I have is my flexible schedule. I can't see my notes with my glasses on, but I can't see you guys with them on. So I'm always on my computer, and I'm always reading something, and I'm always writing notes about anything that I'm learning or working on. That's just me. I read like 2 books at a time sometimes. So my schedule's wide open to make a priority of attending any meeting that I need to for any reason, anytime. My job is flexible. I'm a loan processor. I work from home. My company is a small family-owned business in Oregon, so I don't have any other commitments that would prevent me from, like I used to back in the day when I was a single mom with a job and a half and 2 daughters that were always trying to pull each other's hair out. So,
Okay, thank you.
and sports.
Councilmember Chapman, number 4.
Do you intend to file for a council position in the next regular election?
You know, I don't know. This is a brand new experience for me. Just even standing here talking to you guys kind of tells me I probably wouldn't do as well as a stand-up comedian like I always dreamed that I could and wish I would have been. But it's a great experience for me to see what this feels like. I've never attended a council meeting of any kind in my entire life. I've volunteered when somebody was like, hey, we need volunteers. Whenever I've heard that, you know, I'm like, well, okay, yeah, I'll do it if I can. But it would depend. If I was well received and, you know, I felt like I was doing well and helping make the decisions that the council needs to make and contributing and was a good fit, then yeah, I'd love to. But I kind of came in here not really knowing anything, so be a learning experience.
Councilmember Holland.
What is the role of an individual Woodland City Council member?
That one I had to take notes on because I had to look it up. So, well, I learned that a city council is a legislative body with authority to make local laws and give and take interests. Can't read my own writing. Make decisions that best benefit the community and participate in the policy-making process. So I guess that we're making decisions for the community, what's best for the community, representing the community as a group of people. That's a simple way that I can word it. I'm new to the whole process, so.
Do you have any experience in public finance or reviewing, implementing, or tracking budgets?
Not in public finance. I was a office manager for a architectural sheet metal company in Clackamas, Oregon for 15 years, and I was the whole office. So all of the construction projects, and it's architectural sheet metal roofs for malls or Jack-in-the-Box or whatever. Every job that that company got, I managed all the change orders, adding or subtracting. I did all the progress billings and tracked all of the lien releases and everything that was required to bill something out complete and then get the retention. So, and I did that for 15 years. That's the only thing I think of that cross-references.
Mr. Burke, you're back up again with number 7.
Me again, all right, that quick. Okay, there are many situations where people disagree on issues. How do you handle disagreements and bring them to the closure?
I guess the first thing that I lean into, and it's just me, the individual, talking to anybody, is active listening. And reading that person's, the way they're communicating to you. How important is this? How upset about this are you? And what do you really want to hear me say? What can we do to make it better? And that's the way I approach that.
Councilmember Smith.
How would you handle a complaint from a citizen that a city employee was rude?
I had to take notes on that one too. I would listen and ask the citizen for all the details and assure them that what they were saying to me was very important, and that I understood. And then I would speak to the next up in the chain of command regarding the incident and discuss any additional follow-up. And I would, if it were my position to do so, follow up with the citizen and let them know that I had discussed this and it would be looked into.
Mrs. Ricks.
What do you think is the most important issue facing the city in the next 2 years?
I would go back to that growth. And I had a dentist appointment today, and I sat in traffic getting back from Lewis River Dental to Hartwood. So I'm not an engineer, and I don't know how to address that. But I just see that growth bottlenecking and causing more and more problems if we don't find ways for people to get in and out of Woodland or have enough room to live here and shop here and do what we need to do.
Okay.
My turn.
Yes, sir.
If appointed, what would you like to accomplish over the next year?
I would like to be someone who contributed to blowing open lines of communication between people in the community, our first responders, people that don't agree, people that do agree. Communication, civil discourse, solutions. I would love to be someone who could help with those things.
How have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
Well, as I said, I came here homeless in 2010, and I didn't use the term homeless. The school resource guy did, and I was crushed when he said it, because I was like, I'm not homeless, I'm living with my best friend. But I was making $12 an hour on unemployment, and I could not have afforded to live in my own home if I absolutely had to. And I had a really angry 12-year-old daughter who thought I just wrecked everything in the whole world. So it took a while, and I had to try really hard to get back on my feet. And Cowlitz County CAP helped me, and some of the nice people I did run into in Woodland, like Nate at the diner and Jerry at the liquor store, and just people that I encountered here and there, just helped me learn to really care about Woodland and like it and want to live here. So I took all the courses and credit building classes that I needed to, and I bought a home in 2017. So I own my own home, and I cut my own grass, and I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I look for ways that I can do something good in the community. If the least I can do is be friendly or kind to somebody that I interact with, then that's what I try to do. I like living here, and I've told my family, even though they're all still down in Oregon, that I'm probably here till the rest of my run, especially now since I bought a house. So.
Ms. Rowland.
What level of experience do you have with Robert's Rules of Order or another parliamentary procedures and stuff?
That I had to look up too. So that is the I and nay, and the formality procedures, and I'm almost informal to a fault. So I would definitely have to study up on those. So I have none, but I'm willing to learn. I can be taught.
Well, that is the final 12. Is there anything else that we need to know?
I don't think so. I thank you all for the opportunity, and I will be watching whether I'm selected or not. This inspired me to attend a city council meeting because it is a good place to learn what's going on and if there is anything I could do about it. or help, or just learn about Woodland itself. It's a unique community, especially in these times after living in the communities that I've lived in my life. I've been to Germany and Texas and Oregon and California, so Woodland it's unique. It's really nice. And when I hear that our tourism has gone up, and we'll see that on a hot sunny day, when Horseshoe Lake, I'm going to drop my inflatable kayak in there and I'm going to paddle my little self around the other side so I can chill out a little bit. But I really like Woodland, and I would love to find ways that I can do something helpful for Woodland. So,
All right. Well, thank you very much, and again, thank you. All right.
oh, thanks, you guys.
Come on down.
She can stay in now, right?
No.
Why? She's already done it.
No.
Carol, shut up.
Short-term memory thing now that I'm creating.
They didn't state their name at the beginning, so.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Are you paying?
He announced
Yep.
it. That's what's supposed to go on like that here.
Mr. Belisle.
I wasn't paying attention.
Good evening, Mr. Belisle.
Hi.
Thank you so much for putting your name into the hat for the opportunity to join Woodland City Council. I know that you ran for election this last go-around. It's never easy to put yourself out there, but it's nice to see that you're back here again. So thank you for giving it another shot. We will go through the 12 questions, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and we're going to begin. We're just going to come right out the gate with Mr. Burke.
All right.
Okay, ready? Tell us about your previous public service to the Woodland community, and have you ever attended a council meeting?
So I have yet to serve the city in an official capacity, but I've helped the community interest in my participation with Planters Days, and I have attended numerous council meetings in the city and others, as well as Clark County Commission meetings.
Mr. Smith?
Are there any issues that are of particular interest to you? And what do you hope to accomplish during this appointed term as a council member?
I'm very fiercely interested in building community and increasing civic engagement. I'd like to see this room filled with interested community members, and I know they're there. I'd like to incubate Woodland's future neighborhood associations to further increase the livability of this area. Many people say that they're close and supportive with their neighbors, but they don't really enjoy the benefits of having an organized neighborhood association who can do any numerous amounts of things.
Okay. City council members must attend numerous meetings and keep up with multiple issues. Are you able to commit this amount of time and arrange your life schedule to participate fully as a member of the city council? Explain how you will handle the demands of the job.
Well, I am self-employed, so I'm able to make my own schedule, and I do schedule around these civic meetings. So that's pretty easy. I got no kids at home to chase around, so I have an open schedule and totally available.
All right, Keith, do you intend to file for a council position in the next regular election?
I have not decided at this time.
What is the role of an individual Woodland City Council member?
The role involves being a good community representative with an individual voice, contributing to a team tasked with some of the decision-making necessary in the operation of the municipality.
Do you have any experience in public finance or reviewing, implementing, or tracking budgets?
My experience with public finance and budgets has been limited to presentations involved with councils and nonprofits. My personal experience has been with my home business and that of the Planters Days celebration organization.
Mr. Burke?
He was
Yeah,
taking
I was-
notes.
Oh.
He was taking notes. I was waiting. He was finishing up his notes there.
There are many situations where people disagree on issues. How do you handle disagreement and bring them to closure?
Well, I first like to get with the individuals and listen to them, gather information and perspective, and then next I would try to identify points of contention to work towards the potential solutions and a final understanding.
How would you handle a complaint from a citizen that a city employee was rude?
I would ask to speak to all the parties involved and ask lots of questions. After some thought, solutions might be offered that may include further training and modalities that help to avoid these awkward instances of customer service misunderstandings.
What do you think is the most important issue facing the city in the next 2 years?
I think the most important issue facing the city of Woodland in the next 2 years is a sensible attention to inevitable growth. We as well need to identify the Woodland warriors and enlist them to help increase Woodland's spirit and potential. We need action now.
If appointed, what would you like to accomplish over the next year?
If I was appointed, I'd like to help the council tie up any loose ends and resolve the most pressing matters. Beyond that, I'd like to show the neighborhoods how much more potential they hold.
And how have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
Well, I tried every day to be a good example and speak of the city in a positive light. I look for ways to help. I take action. Planners Days has probably been the best example of how I've been involved in that level.
And what level of experience do you have with the Roberts Rules of Order or another parliamentary procedure system?
I would say that I'm an intermediate user. I've used it probably the last 20 years in different boards that I've been involved with. So that experience includes numerous boards, organizations, and observation of this and like councils.
All right. Well, that was the 12 questions. Is there anything else that council or we should know about yourself?
No, but thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bio. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Edward Lynette.
He's the one that's not here.
Lynette? Edward Lynette? I don't know who that
He's the
is.
one that's not here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did he call in sick or what?
Oh, no, it's my vote.
That's your vote?
I'll vote for him.
Robert Richardson.
But it still applies.
Oh.
So. It may not be your vote, but I think so. It still applies.
Step right up, Mr. Richardson. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you for having me.
I know it's not easy to put yourself out there, and especially in this type of environment, but we appreciate your willingness to apply for the vacancy. As stated before, we'll go through the 12 questions, beginning with Mr. Burke, and once that's over, we'll ask you to step back out of the room.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Burke.
Tell us about your previous public service to the Woodland community, and have you ever attended a council meeting before?
I have attended a council meeting before, unfortunately only one. My service to the community is I've been a Moose Lodge member for about 5 years now. All of those, as soon as I was able, I became an officer there at the lodge, and I am one of the past governors and take part in the fishing derby and the Easter egg hunt, large parts of it, help set it up, help run them always, and was a big part in the lodge contributing to the pantry program at our school district. So we are looking to try and do more with the community as we grow and bring things back to the lodge and get back to normal, if you will.
Are there any issues that are of particular interest to you? And what do you hope to accomplish during this appointed term as a council member?
Particular interest to me is our infrastructure, our roads. I've been in construction since I was 20 years old, so the last 40 years. I've been a project superintendent, a general superintendent with one of the major civil contractors in Vancouver for the last 26 years and running jobs. So I know roads, I know asphalt, I know underground pipes and when things are failing and such. And I, I've lived here in town for 30 years and, or right at the 29 years, I guess, 29 and a half now. But I see problems that we have, and I see how I could help to possibly fix that and know the right way to go and the way to do that. But I see our big problems here as the growth, right? The growth in the infrastructure. That's what everybody's saying. What are we going to do? I'd like to be a part of helping that.
City council members must attend numerous meetings and keep up with multiple issues. Are you able to commit this amount of time and arrange your life schedule to participate fully as a city council member? Explain how you will handle the demands of the job.
Yes, I will be able to do that. How I will handle that is I will have to back off at the Moose Lodge a little bit at that level to be able to help out here more, which I see would probably be a bigger picture, bigger thing for me. So, yeah, I have learned over the years with being a superintendent and general superintendent how to deal with time and how to deal with numerous things. Working for that $50 million a year company and running 150 guys and up to 8 or 10 jobs at a time. So delegating time and keeping track of everything has been something I've had to do for the last 20-some years. And I think I've done rather well at it.
Do you intend to file for a council position in the next regular election?
At this point, that would be unknown. I would like to get in and see what it is. I've never done anything like this, but I almost tried to get in at the last voting, but really didn't think I would fit the bill, so I didn't do it. But then when this came open, I thought, well, you know what? It's a second shot at it, so here we go.
What is the role of an individual Woodland City Council member?
I've never done it. So, in my opinion, my mind, what I see is what everybody's got to do. You guys have got to sit in and figure out what we're going to do as a city and approve it or not. I believe that you all have to sit there and think independently of your own. Of everything that comes in, every question and all of it. You have to do it independently. You have to keep an open mind, which I tip my hat to you because that is tough to keep that open mind and say, okay, might not be something that you agree with, but you still have to keep an open mind and take both sides of it, weigh it up, and see where it falls. So that's what I see that you got to do, and just for the greater good of the community, not putting your own feelings aside, but for the greater good of the community.
Do you have any experience in public finance or reviewing, implementing, or tracking budgets?
Well, a little bit, yeah. As running jobs up to $10 million jobs, being the project superintendent, running crews, I was the last 6 years, 7 years with the outfit. I was the pipe superintendent as well as the assistant general superintendent, and I was a project superintendent. So those all had budgets. Out there you go over the budget. You do that too many times, you don't get to go to work no more at that place. So yeah, we had a lot that was budgets. We had to stay on track and make sure that it was done that way. I didn't have a whole lot of time of writing up those budgets. I didn't want to be the guy in the office trying to figure that out and then going after the money. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be outside getting everybody working and trying to do the right thing.
There are many situations where people disagree on issues. How do you handle disagreements and bring them to closure?
Again, an open mind, hear what everybody has to say. I tell people all the time, there's like 47 ways to skin a cat, and 3 of them are wrong. So, you know, you gotta weigh everything out again there and see what it is. Not everybody is gonna agree on everything. So keeping an open mind and discussing it and working through it.
How would you handle a complaint from a citizen that a city employee was rude?
That was the toughest question you guys had. You know, you got to listen to them. You got to give them the time. I guess the way I would look at that is I would try and find out where the problem was and take that to whoever the head of that is, right? If it's a public works issue, then I would go to Tracy and talk to her about it. But I would tell that person that I will take it to who it needs to go to and find out what was going on and get them to answer to you why, you know, what is or what isn't. So that, you know, I wouldn't want to speak out of place or in somebody else's place. So you know, what I guess I would tell them is I'll try and figure out where this goes and get that person routed to you or get you routed to them. Kind of pass the buck, I guess, huh?
They want to make comments.
I know.
I mean, you know, that is the toughest question that you had on there. I sat at the table this afternoon and I thought, because I had them all kind of worked out, you know, a few days ago, and I kept on with that one. Well, how do you really deal with that?
What do you think the most important issue facing the city in the next 2 years?
Growth. Growth, whether it be housing, whether it be in our port district is really starting to boom right now, which is a great thing in my opinion. You know, we're getting some new businesses and they're doing new parcels. The growth with homes and what could potentially be is really huge. As we all know, I mean, I live downtown. I live at the end of Washington Street, so when I try and get out and come across town at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I get to enjoy all of that stuff. It's you know, that is the issue. That is the real issue, and that's it's going to be more in the next couple of years, you know. But it's all doable. It's all, you know, we had the same issues. I actually was a superintendent, built the Walmart and did the roundabouts. So I heard, you know, dang roundabouts, what are you guys doing? What is this garbage about? Well, they work, you know. There is things that can be done. So it's tough and you got to listen to it for a while, but there's things that we can do to alleviate these problems. It's just tracking the right one down and I guess tracking the money down.
If appointed, what would you like to accomplish over the next year?
Answers to the traffic problems. Answers, just, and that's the thing, answers right now. I mean, coming up with the answers for it, we can, you know, it's going to take time to build it, but as long as we can come up with the answers and let people know, that's going to get them off the backs. It's that's the big thing. If people know you're working and you're going that way, I think it'll be a huge step. And that's what you hear out there right now is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? More houses. What are we going to do? Well, if we have a plan, then we're going to be good shape.
So how have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
I guess just the only thing I've really done is with the Moose Lodge and what I've done there. I like to think that that's one, you know, what I have done with the pantry program, especially because I pretty much spearheaded that and with those guys. That and that's not a lot, but to me it is. To me it is when I see kids that get, you know, they don't have something at home and they get to take something home and eat. That was, to me, that's huge. So,
What level of experience do you have with Robert's Rules of Order?
just a little bit, very little with, with our stuff that we do at the lodge. That's about it, but not very much. So, no, I would be the newbie. You'd have to probably tell me to get in line once in a while.
All right, well, that was the 12 questions. Is there anything else that we should know?
No, I just, I come, like I say, with a very strong construction background. I understand construction. I understand roads. I know all the divots and the potholes, and I see why they're happening. And I see construction going on and things that are going a little wrong there where the city could be liable for some of the things that we're doing and not taking care of. And I think that I could help with that. I think that I could be a stronger part of that and let get going where that part where we're not driving through potholes and get on track there. So I appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you, and thank you again for coming out tonight.
You bet.
Mrs. Graham. No? No. I don't know. I've never done it before. I don't know what it is. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah. We know it's not easy to put yourself out there, but you've been up here before. We appreciate you putting your name out there again and going through this process with us. You want to bring that down just a little? There we go. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
As we stated, we're going to go through a series of 12 questions. All right.
I have 12 answers.
All right. And we are going to go
You just want me to read my answers and forget the questions? No.
We're going to go ahead and kick it off with Mr. Burke, and we'll go down the way.
Alrighty.
And we'll go a second round. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Burke.
Okay, tell us about your previous public service to the Woodland community, and have you ever attended a council meeting?
Well, yes, I have attended many council meetings because I am a past council member for the past 4 years, up until 22. So yes, I have. I've probably been a member of the chamber since about 1990. I've had a business here in town for a long time, twice as a matter of fact. I am past president of the chamber. I am a past president of the Planters Day Committee in 2001 for a couple of years, and I've always been a member of that group. And I still am a member of the chamber to date. We always had a Lions Club here in town. I was a member of the Lions Club when they finally accepted women in the order. And I was president there for a while too, along with being secretary. And I am just recently a new member of the Moose Lodge, but I haven't started anything there. And, Woodland is just in my heart. I've lived here since 1969, so it's just a part of everything. And a lot of events, auctions, and so on. So, I think that's about it.
Mr. Smith.
Are there any issues that are of particular interest to you, and what do you hope to accomplish during the appointed term as council member?
Well, as you know, it's probably a lot of the same things that you're discussing and dealing with to date is traffic, infrastructure, housing, industry, business restoration, our businesses, and restoration for downtown. I come from a long time, in fact, we were just talking out in the lobby. I've lived here in town since 1969, but I visited this community as a child and going to the bank, the shoe store, the clothing store, the drugstore, the theater, the bakery, I'd like to see that come back to downtown. It's a big job in finding people to come and do that. It's going to take a special person, but I think we have a lot to offer. And the traffic, the infrastructure, the whole thing, it's an ongoing situation. And as we all know, it takes money, and not one person can do it. It takes a group. As they say, it takes a village to raise the child. Well, yeah. Ongoing. So.
Okay. City council members must attend numerous meetings and keep up with multiple issues. Are you able to commit this amount of time and arrange your life schedule to participate fully as a member of the city council?
Oh,
Explain
yes.
how
Yeah.
handle the demands of the job.
Yes, because I am old and I am retired, and you just have to learn to manage your time. So that was my answer to that one.
Mr. Chapman.
Mrs. Graham, do you intend to file for a council position in the next regular election?
Yes, I would, because by not doing it this last time, I didn't know how hard it was going to be not to be here. So it's important.
Okay, what is the role of an individual Woodland City Council member?
Well, you're here to set policies for the positive growth of our community, and so that staff can administer those decisions and accomplish their goals for the community.
Ms. Graham, do you have any experience in public finance or reviewing, implementing, or tracking budgets?
I had to think about this one for a while. You know, having my own business, I had, my bookkeeping was pretty simplistic. And you get in here and you start looking at city budgets. It's a big learning process of how the money comes into the city, where it goes out, different departments that it comes from. I can listen and learn and see, but technically I am not a finance person. So, yeah.
There are many situations where people disagree on issues. How do you handle disagreements and bring them to closure?
Issues. First of all, I hope that everybody can be adults in communicating about certain issues that you have. You have to listen to all ideas. Think about it. Think about what's best for your community, and come up with the best solution from everybody's ideas. You can't be just one-sided on everything. You have to listen to all. And communicate your ideas and carry on. But think of where you're headed with what's best for your community.
How would you handle a complaint from a citizen that a city employee was rude?
You can listen to them, and then you have to know where to take it to the person that has to deal with it in a proper manner. You can't do it yourself.
What do you think is the most important issue facing the city in the next 2 years?
That's ongoing too. It's the traffic, the infrastructure, the growth, the housing, the whole 9 yards. That's not going to change, and you know where you're going to take it. State needs to come up with some money so we can fix downtown. It's going to be ongoing. It's just going to be ongoing. And you just have to work with what you have, what's in front of you. Money, personnel. whatever goes along with it. So, basically, that's it.
Okay. If appointed, what would you like to accomplish over the next year?
Well, there again, Carl. It's the same thing. I feel like it's a repeating. And after I sat and read these questions and went through it all, everything is just, it's pretty much, a lot of it is the same thing. Trying to move forward with the issues, the traffic, housing industry. Not, like I said before, not one person can solve the problem. It takes everybody to work together to make the city grow. And it's not ever going to be perfect, unfortunately. So we have to do the best with what there is.
This one's right up your alley. How have
Is
you?
it same answer? Do I get to give you the same answer?
How have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
Oh my goodness. Well, there again, it's a lot of it. Even though I've lived here, even though my husband worked for the city, being on city council for the last 4 years, it was a big learning process. And I think there is a lot out there that a lot of people don't know, because I didn't. I mean, it was the whole process that you go through. Where your money comes from, what you do with your money, who gets paid out of what account. I mean, there's a lot. And like all of us going through the whole water issue, and I don't know if we're ever going to get to monthly bills, are we? We're that close now.
That's that close.
You know, oh, he's stretching out this week just for me? No, I wouldn't think so. You know, you have to listen and do your very best on all the things that go on in the city. I reflected back of what this community has gone through. We were a farming community. It was huge. We were a logging community. It was huge. And I think now our community's headed towards industry because of our location. And got to gel them all together somehow the best you can. Like I said, nothing's perfect, but you just have to work for it. And, you know, think about our residents, and our decisions have to be for the good, the best that we can. So, like I said, these just kind of all run together for me. There's not the difference for everything. So, anyway, that's it.
What level of experience do you have with Robert's Rules of Order or another parliamentary procedure?
The whole Robert's Rules of Order, and I hope you guys get a chance to attend. Ann McFarland, she is an expert in the Robert's Rules of Orders. And we have attended her class, and you can attend her class online too now if you're signed up for them. And it was quite a day we spent with her learning about Robert's Rules of Orders. And very smart, and you would have to study that book daily to get to where she was at. So, and it's just, you know, trying to have general knowledge of how things run. So, that's it, sir.
That is 12. Is there anything
That is
else
12.
we should know before you walk out?
Just, you know, lived here for a long time. I care about the city with all my heart. And I know there's issues. And I have seen it improve 300%. The staff that the city has now is terrific. Trying to do the best that we can for our community. And I think that's just very, very important. So I like it when I hear new people that have moved into town and are staying. So we must be doing something right. So we're here. We're here for the journey. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Graham.
You're welcome.
I think there's only one left. Just making sure. Mrs. Melissa Dowdy. You just went? Oh. Wow.
I'm hitting Mr. Small floor.
Oh, yes,
I can't
she
make jokes
did.
while they're in here.
Mrs. Dowdy, hello. Thank you for being here this evening. I know it's not easy to put yourself out there.
Thank you for having me.
But we appreciate you making the effort, regardless of what happens this evening. So you should be proud of yourself for putting yourself up for consideration and going through the process. With that, we've got 12 questions for you. We're going to begin with Mr. Burke, and we're just going to kick off and go.
Okay.
All right. Tell us about your previous public service to the Woodland community, and have you ever attended a council meeting before?
Okay. Yes, I have attended a council meeting. As far as my public service to Woodland, my husband served 23 years in the Navy, so we have lived all over the country. So we've only been here 5 years in this past April. We just hit it, the beginning of the month. And so when we first got here, I did some volunteering and even brought our family to the Woodland Action Center, and have had a couple of foot surgeries and then had a husband who had one, and now my daughter's on. So we've had some foot issues. So the flooring and stuff kind of prohibited us from being back. But I've done a lot with the school system. I do a lot of subbing and long-term jobs, getting involved and really involved in my kids. I have a high schooler and 2 middle schoolers, and so really involved in their sports and, being an active participant in the family community of Woodland. I do a lot inside of our neighborhood. I live in Merriweather, and so I served on the pool and clubhouse committee, taking care of our pool and doing things that, activities and events with that. And now I'm on the architectural review committee, and I chair that committee. So I do things in our little community. My husband retired at the beginning of COVID. So with the last 2 years, you haven't been able to volunteer much. My husband also decided to retire. So now we're making Woodland our home and not just a stop me ground in the middle of our journey. So really looking forward to giving back in other ways. I've helped out with the backpack, stuffing the backpacks and stuff for that back to school bash. But this is kind of where I'd like to really put my time into is, the city council. I think I thought about it a little bit when elections came, and I was like, oh, it's too late. I can't do it. My husband's like, why? Do it now. And I was like, well, we got to wait till next election. So this opportunity came up, and my husband supporting 100% and is like, I think you should do it. So this is kind of my real first push to get actively involved, I would say, beyond just little things here and there. I think that's it for that part.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Are there any issues that are of particular interest to you, and what do you hope to accomplish during this appointed term as a council member?
Well, I think the growth of Woodland and keeping with the traditions and values that have made Woodland so appealing to us and wanting us to stay has been really important. And I know that growth is inevitable, and there's more housing, and there's all these things coming that we are expanding. But I think growing Woodland in the right way and making sure it's done to still be a town that I'm proud of and proud to call home and proud to raise our family in, and a place where maybe someday they want to come back and have their own families continue to be here. I think that is something I'm really passionate about. I've moved my whole life, and so to kind of finally have somewhere I can say, I don't think I have to leave, it's really nice for a change. I also think, being an ambassador for the families in the Woodland, I think a lot of things we do are geared for an older generation that we have in town. And I think getting more community involvement with families that have younger children and making them feel like they should take a lead too, because we need them to start taking a part and feeling like Woodland is theirs and having the buy-in. So I think getting, all generations involved in Woodland and being part of the decision making and feeling like they have a voice is really important too. And creating an environment where kids have a place they feel proud to call home as well, and not just create riffraff and, want to take that ownership. And I think to build the community relationships where the people feel heard, that if somebody has something to say, that we listen and that they don't feel like they're ignored. So.
City council members must attend numerous meetings and keep up with multiple issues. Are you able to commit to this amount of time and arrange your life schedule to participate fully as a member of the city council? Explain how you will handle the demands of the job.
Absolutely. I think I can handle the demands of the position. Currently, I have a long-term sub-position as an ELA teacher at the middle school through the end of the year, and then I go back to subbing next year. So I kind of set my own schedule. My husband, since retiring, works a lot from home, so I kind of have a companion in raising our kids now, and not somebody who I'm doing all the lifting myself. And we have older kids, so my daughter will start driving in the fall too, so that makes it a big heavy weight on. But my husband, as I said, my husband is 100%, encouraging me to take this step, and so he's like, whatever I need to do, he's right there by my side to make sure that we make it happen and make it great. So.
Do you intend to file for a council position in the next regular election?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the role of an individual Woodland City Council member?
Well, I think our first role would be to represent the city and the citizens in it, to make sure that we're not acting selfishly, but we're acting selflessly in our role, and to make sure that we represent the whole and not just a part of Woodland, because there are many faces to Woodland, and we need to make sure that everyone feels that they're part of it and their voice is heard. Let's see. And I think also, communicating within the committee and making sure that making the best informed decisions for our community, and as a committee, making sure that we work together in making those decisions.
Do you have any experience in public finance or reviewing, implementing, or tracking budgets?
I'm going to say no. I've done my own budget for 23 years being married to somebody in the Navy who's gone away. But, I think reviewing budgets, I've served on many school committees and stuff where the budget's put in front of you, and even in our neighborhood, sitting through budget meetings and that kind of stuff, and being able to look at them and ask the questions, but not any really hands-on experience, just more of as a outsider looking in.
There are many situations where people disagree on issues. How do you handle disagreements and bring them to closure?
Well, I think making sure that all the facts are presented and offer solutions that that allow the best outcome of the situation that you're in, to be open to hearing both sides and making that informed decision with all parties in play, and not trying to cater to one side or the other and taking that side, but making sure you gather the information you need first and make an informed decision, and not instantly jump on one bandwagon or the other.
How would you handle a complaint from a citizen that a city employee was rude?
Well, I think showing empathy to that citizen in a caring way, saying, I understand, I will look into it further, and making sure to go to that person that the complaint's about and gathering both sides. Kind of like I said in the other question, I think it's really about gathering the facts before you take a side and before you make any decisions. It's real easy to get brought into a moment and a heated discussion and be like, okay, whatever I can do. But I think it's important to make them realize, hey, it is my job to listen to both sides and to make sure that we know all the facts before making a hasty decision on what needs to be done. But letting them know that their voice is being heard, that they have a problem. You know, it may not be the outcome that they would like, but at least making them feel like what they have to say matters.
What do you think is the most important issue facing the city in the next 2 years?
Well, I'm going to say this, and you guys can laugh, because I'm going to say water prices, because my bill's outrageous. And it's discussions I've had with people on the board, so I know it's kind of funny, but my bill's outrageous. So water prices, definitely. I know that there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. We need to deal with the infrastructure and things. But still, I think it's an issue. I think traffic and the growth of Woodland, especially with all these housing developments trying to come in, and the traffic issues that are already there. Right now, working at the middle school and trying to get it to even the high school with the railroad track and everything closed to get my daughter at the end of the day is like, hey, you know, I'm normally 5 minutes late. Now it's going to be like 15. So, I mean, trying to work through those solutions and try to find something that is manageable, and working with new developers and working with new businesses coming into town and making sure that, you know, they're here for the community and not just for a dollar. And I think we need to be smart in the decisions that we make as far as what businesses we bring to Woodland to make what makes Woodland so great continue to be great. And so I really feel that, you know, even getting things that, again, support families and giving the kids and things like that an outlet that is more than just going to the park, like giving some things that I would love to encourage, you know, outside people to come in and do some of that. That I think it's important that we don't just put up another gas station or another, you know, I think there's so much of one business per se that's here that it would be nice to grow it in a new way that encourages other entities to Woodland that we could benefit from and be a bonus and not just more traffic, bringing in people just off the highway, but serving our own community.
If appointed, what would you like to accomplish over the next year?
You know, I think my goal is to make it better than it was when I started. And so I think, you know, I already think Woodland's really great. But, you know, getting my foot in the door and finding out where I can contribute the most with my experience and from living all over the country and the things that I have done and seen in different small towns, big towns, everything, and being able to contribute those experiences that I've had to continue to make Woodland such a wonderful place. And I think also continuing to build relationships in the community, because I think that's so important anytime you're serving someone, that they know who you are and that you're there for them just as much as you're there to make a decision. You know, you're there for their decisions too. And I think being involved in trying to get others to continue to want to get involved, I think is important too. So leaving my mark and making others want to leave theirs as well and encouraging that.
How have you helped contribute to making Woodland a better community?
Well, that's a tricky question since I've only been here 5 years and we had a pandemic. I kind of thought a lot of this, and it's hard. I'm still trying to figure out my place in Woodland and how to make it better. So I think, you know, starting in my neighborhood was one way that I could contribute. And I think that's why I'm here, because I want to grow it outside of my little neighborhood. I want it to be the whole community and seeing every part of Woodland flourish. And whether it's the industrial or it's, you know, the families or the schools, I think there's so many places to make a mark and to make, to contribute in so many ways. So even with all the different subcommittees that everybody serves on, I think there's always a place to give input that might add a new side that people haven't seen or thought of. That it doesn't have to be accepted, but it at least makes people think. And so I think it's important to make people think and make sure that all things are considered.
What level of experience do you have with Robert's Rules of Order or another parliamentary procedure system?
Well, I did student government a long time ago, even in college. So I have done a lot of that. I mean, I did things in Florida that even going to, Tallahassee and all that to meet with the governor and those kind of things. So I've done a lot of those type of things. It might have been 25 years ago, but but I've also been chair of a lot of other groups, whether it be moms clubs that are international groups, that I've taken that role on and made sure that we followed a procedure in our meetings, much like you guys do. We have an agenda and we follow it and make sure that people speak when they're supposed to and not just free for all. So not so much Robert's rules in a really long time, but definitely, following and sticking to a procedure and making sure that that is followed to make the meetings productive and not just ramble on. So.
All right. Thank you very much. That's 12. Is there anything else that we should know?
Well, I'm just really excited at the possibility. I think Woodland has so much to offer our families, and I would like to be a part of making them aware of what we can offer them. And as we have more and more people move in from outside of Woodland, it's important to make them feel a part of the community and not as an outsider, so that they want to continue to stay, just like I have chosen for our family to continue to stay. And so I think that's important.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are going to ask you to step out into the lobby and everyone else in the room as well, and we're going to go into an executive session.
Do we get to close the blinds so they can't read our lips?
Like they do on the football field. Yeah.
Up on the mound. Up on the mound.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta put the play card.
The play card.
Right.
Oh, let me,
So we're trying something. We're trying not to lose the video feed. We've been losing it after breaks.
okay. Oh. Oh, no, I want to.
Oh.
There we go. I didn't. No, I meant to. I didn't mean to do that.
You were doing
I was doing so well tonight. The time is now 9:18. We are out of executive session, but we are still adjourned until 9:21.
Where's the recycle bin?
There's a blue.
Yeah, there was right against the wall there.
Did Tracy drop this on?
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
Used to be one up here.
Oh, thank you. We can't start the meeting until 21 after. I don't. This is Gina. Did you leave this for me? Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Are we all electronic and they all say the same thing? Yeah, you say somebody like making an.
Okay. For everybody or just us? Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
It's just, okay. 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 No, I don't.
Conclusion or end, right?
Well, what? So we've come to the end of our meeting.
Yeah, I know, it sounds funny.
I make a motion. We adjourn. See, it's not me. It's them. It's them.
Right, right, it is us.
I don't.
It is us.
So I make a
So,
Make a motion to conclude the meeting.
or in the
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah. Okay, got it.
right,
Okay.
And then probably 10 years from now, somebody will have an issue with that word.
right, we'll change to something else.
Yeah.
I want to ask the meeting.
Probably.
It's just
How's he doing? Is he?
Me?
We can,
Jeez, looks like a baller.
I know.
yeah, it
It's
does.
like straight up. What's
Just
up?
mean.
What's up, G? Well, he is mean.
That's how you took that.
He was mean to me in my driveway.
Wait, is there?
He may be 6, but he's mean.
He's 7 now?
He's 7. Oh, he's 7. Was he 7 at Halloween?
Yes. No, he was 6 at Halloween.
See, he's a mean little stinker. It's 9:21.
You're number one.
Yeah. You like telling me I was number 1. You enjoyed it way too much. All right. Now time is now 9:21. Get my agenda out here. We are back in regular session. We have come to action item I on our agenda. Nominate applicants for position number 3, city council seat / vote on a nomination.
I'd like to move to approve Melissa Doherty as our next replacement council.
Second.
Mrs. Melissa Dowdy has been nominated by Councilmember Burke and seconded by Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Burke.
Aye. Oh,
Oh, no.
no, I said, of all the candidates, I think they're all great. This one was,
Councilmember Chapman.
I agree. I mean, every one of you is like up here. It made it really tough to make the decision. And I was like, I don't want to make it, but I'll second it. So that's kind of how I got.
Further discussion, Mrs. Rounds.
I just want to say thank you to all that have come out this evening too. It's unusual that we have such good quality people show up to apply for the city council position. And I'm really tickled that you guys showed up, so, and showed some interest.
Mr. Smith.
I agree with what everybody has said up here so far. This is a really soul-sucking experience to have to vote for one. I promise you, every single person out there, it is an extremely tough decision on who to pick, and there is reasons to pick every single one of you. And there's one person in particular, I'm sure you know who you are, that it is soul-sucking not to go that route. There's a reason why I'm willing to go the route that Councilmember Burke has nominated, but it is a very, very hard decision to do this.
I will concur with that.
Further, Mrs. Holland?
I just wanted to say that to whomever does not become a council member tonight, the electoral process, super fun. You should totally run. You get to meet a lot of people. You learn a lot of stuff. Council meetings are twice a month. I came to them for, 4 or 5 years, something. I sat back there, watched every single thing that ever happened. I used to videotape it so y'all could sit at home and watch it. But I highly recommend, because the best way you can be part of the conversation is to be here, making decisions. It's fun to think about it, but to participate in this way is the best way you can serve your community. It's not for everybody, and it's kind of hard sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's really important work, and not enough people run during election cycles. Literally, not enough people run. And you totally should. And if you're not thinking about it right now, you have some time. You have some time to think about it. So I just want to throw that out there.
Anything further? Go ahead.
I agree with everything that's been said. I've done the process. It was nerve-wracking to be in front of so many people all at once. So I commend you for doing that. I really liked everybody, and there's definitely people that I would want to continue to get to know after this. But I just thank you so much for being interested in being here.
All right, seeing nothing else. Mrs. Anderson, please take the roll on action item I, nomination of Mrs. Melissa Downey to council position number 3 seat.
Councilmember Rouse?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Rowland?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We've come to the end of our meeting.
Make a motion to end our meeting. Conclude or end. Right, Gina?
I second the accent.
Motion by Councilmember Round, second by Councilmember Chapman. I love the Attorney General. All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The time is now 9:26. Thank you.
Can we majority vote? We can individually vote now?
And
No. We're done. Oh, let's see. What's that? What's that?
Oh, so now, next meeting, do we swear her in? So what is, next meeting, do we swear her in?
Oh, nothing. I was just talking to her. Next meeting. Oh, and happy Easter today.